I'm staring at a security camera feed I'm not supposed to be watching. The timestamp says 3:47 a.m. The hallway outside Minjun's study is empty. Should be empty. But the motion sensor log shows someone entered at 3:32, 15 minutes ago. I've been monitoring this house's systems for 6 weeks now, ever since Minjun's head of security hired me to upgrade their digital infrastructure, and I know every pixel of normal. This isn't normal. The figure moved like smoke through the camera's blind spot, the one I told them about on day 3, the one they said they'd fix. They didn't. Now, someone who knows this house intimately is inside the most secure room, and I'm sitting in the basement server room with a choice that's about to define whether I see tomorrow. I could sound the alarm, hit the panic button 6 inches from my left hand, wake the entire compound, and become the IT contractor who saved the boss's life. Or maybe I become the black girl who cried wolf, embarrassing a Korean organized crime family at 4 a.m, ending my contract and possibly my ability to ever work in Vancouver again. Possibly ending more than my career, depending on how insulted they feel. But here's what makes my hands shake. The person in that room has been inside this house long enough to know about camera blind spots, which means it's not an outside threat. It's one of them. My little sister Maya needs her medication. $63,000 worth of treatment this year alone. I took this contract because it pays triple my normal rate, because I didn't ask questions about why a import-export consultation firm needed military-grade encryption, because I've been lying to myself for 6 weeks about who these people really are. I'm holding a mouse that could send an alert or close this window and pretend I never saw anything. In 15 seconds, whichever choice I make will put me on a path I can't walk back from. Would you stay quiet to protect yourself and your family, or would you risk everything to warn a dangerous man who might kill the messenger? Poor girl becomes maid in rich Mafia family. Cold Korean Mafia boss falls hard. My finger hovers over the panic button. Then I watch the study door open on camera 7. The figure emerges, and for one frame, just one, the hallway light catches his face. It's Daniel, Minjun's head of security, the man who hired me. My stomach drops. I close the security window so fast I nearly crack the mouse, pull up a random diagnostic screen, force my breathing to slow. Daniel is ex-military, former ROK Special Forces, and he's been with Minjun for 14 years. I heard someone mention it last week during a supply delivery. 14 years of loyalty, living in this compound, eating at the family table. If I'm wrong about what I just saw, I've slandered the most trusted man in this organization. If I'm right, I've just watched the beginning of a betrayal that's been 14 years in the making. The server room door opens. I don't turn around. I know his footsteps. "Working late, Miss Chen." Daniel's English is perfect, barely touched by an accent. "Firmware update," I say, keeping my eyes on the diagnostic screen. "Your eastern perimeter cameras were dropping frames. Should be done in 10 minutes. I can feel him watching me. The server room is small, 12 by 12, no windows, one door. He's blocking it. "I didn't authorize any updates tonight." "You didn't have to. Maintenance protocol you signed off on last month. Automatic implementation between 2 and 5 a.m. when system load is lowest." I pull up the authorization form on my secondary monitor. My hand is steady. I don't know how. He moves closer. I can smell his cologne. Expensive. Wrong for a security officer's salary, but nobody's asked me to audit the finances. "You're very thorough," he says. "That's why I hired you. But sometimes being too thorough is dangerous." I finally turn to look at him. He's 52, fit, alert. His hand rests casually on his belt, near his weapon. "I only see what I'm paid to see," I say. "Router logs, security protocols, system vulnerabilities. Everything else?" I shrug. "Not my business." We hold eye contact. 5 seconds. 10. He's reading me, and I'm letting him see someone who's scared enough to be smart, not scared enough to be a liability. He smiles. Finish your update, Ms. Chen. I'll see you at the morning briefing. He leaves. The door clicks shut. I wait 60 seconds, then pull up the security log again. The entry at 3:32 a.m. is gone, wiped, like it never happened. But I saw it. And now Daniel knows I'm in the system at 4 a.m., even if he doesn't know exactly what I was watching. I have 3 options. Quit tomorrow and run. Tell Min Jun what I saw and pray he believes me over 14 years of loyalty. Or do absolutely nothing and hope Daniel's business doesn't circle back to me. Maya's medication refill is due in 5 days. My contract pays on Fridays. Today is Tuesday. I download the security footage to an encrypted drive so small it hides in my palm, clear my tracks, and go back to my quarters in the staff wing. I don't sleep. At 8 a.m., I'm in the main house's dining room for the daily operational briefing. This isn't normal duty for an IT contractor, but Min Jun mandated it 3 weeks ago. Everyone who lives in my house understands my house, he'd said. Not a request. The dining room could seat 20. Today it's just 8 of us. Min Jun at the head, Daniel to his right, the house manager Mrs. Lim, 2 security officers I know by face not name, the cook, the groundskeeper, and me at the far end. Min Jun is 41, and he doesn't look like the movies. No slicked back hair or flashy suits. He's wearing dark jeans and a black Henley, drinking coffee, reading something on a tablet. His face is expressionless, which I've learned is when he's most dangerous. When he smiles, you're probably safe. When he's blank, someone's already dead in his head. Perimeter cameras? He asks without looking up. Fully operational, Daniel reports. Ms. Chen completed the Eastern Sector upgrade last night. Min Jun's eyes flick to me. At 4 a.m.? System maintenance requires low traffic hours, I say. It's in my contract protocol. Dedicated employee. His tone is neutral. Mrs. Lim, status on this week's supply chain? The briefing continues. Import schedules, delivery confirmations, staffing rotations. Everything sounds legitimate until you realize they're discussing container shipments in the same breath as security protocols for VIP clients. I thought I was upgrading security for a successful import business. By week 2, I knew better. By week 4, I decided I couldn't afford morality. The meeting ends. Everyone disperses except Min Jun, who hasn't moved. Ms. Chen, stay. My heart rate spikes. I remain seated while the room empties. Daniel gives me a look I can't read as he leaves. The door closes. Min Jun sets down his tablet. You're 29 years old. MIT scholarship for computer science. Graduated top 8% of your class. You worked for 2 cybersecurity firms in Seattle before going independent 3 years ago. Your sister has cystic fibrosis. Your mother died when you were 19. Your father remarried and moved to Phoenix. You don't speak to him. He's reciting my life like a weather report. You took this contract for the money, he continues. You don't ask questions because the money is good, but you're smart enough to know what kind of house you're working in. What you aren't smart enough to know is when to leave. Are you firing me? I'm testing you. He stands, walks to the windows overlooking the grounds. The morning light cuts across his profile. Daniel tells me you're exceptionally skilled. He says you found vulnerabilities in our system that professional security consultants missed. He says you're trustworthy. The word trustworthy lands like a threat. Daniel's judgment is usually reliable, Min Jun says. He's been with me 14 years, saved my life twice. I pay my debts, Miss Chen. When someone proves loyalty, I remember it. When someone proves treachery, I eliminate the variable. There it is, the phrase I've heard whispered among staff. Variables get eliminated. You're wondering why I'm telling you this, he says. Yes. He turns to face me. Because in approximately 4 hours, someone is going to try to kill me. I don't know who, I don't know how, but I know it's coming, and I know it's someone inside this house. And you, Miss Chen, are the only person in this building I trust absolutely. I stare at him. Why? Because you have no reason to be loyal yet. Everyone else here either owes me or has been bought. You're just a contractor terrified of losing her paycheck. That makes you predictable. Predictable is safe. He returns to his seat. I need you to do what you do best. Watch the systems. Monitor everything. Tell me what doesn't fit. You think someone's coming through the security network? I think someone who knows this house is making a move. Watch the cameras, the access logs, the patterns. You see details other people miss. Daniel mentioned it. Use that. My mouth is dry. If I help you, I'm choosing a side. You chose a side when you took my money. Now you're deciding whether to earn it or die with it. He slides a keycard across the table. Master access. Every system, every room, every camera. If you find something, you text this number. No one else. I take the card. It's warm from his hand. Why are you trusting me with this? His expression doesn't change. Because if you betray me, Ms. Chen, your sister will lose her medication. Then she'll lose her apartment. Then she'll lose everything else in the exact order that causes you maximum pain before I finally let you die. I pay my debts, all of them. He leaves. I sit alone in the dining room holding a keycard that's either my salvation or my execution warrant and wonder how I ended up here. Then I remember. I chose this. For Maya. I always choose Maya. I spend the next 3 hours in the server room turning Min Jun's security system into my personal surveillance network. Master access means I can see everything, not just cameras, but door logs, phone records, vehicle tracking, even the smart home system monitoring which rooms have occupancy. I'm looking for one thing, patterns that changed in the last 72 hours. By noon, I find the first anomaly. A blind spot has appeared on camera 12, the garage entrance. That wasn't there yesterday. Not a malfunction. Someone recalibrated the angle so it misses the northwest corner by 3 feet. Enough space for one person to slip through undetected. I check the access log. The adjustment was made at 11 p.m. last night by Daniel. My hands start shaking again. I force them still. Next anomaly. A delivery scheduled for 2 p.m. today that's not in Mrs. Lim's supply log. The gate authorization came through Daniel's credentials. The delivery company is one I don't recognize. No history in the system. Third anomaly, Min Jun's calendar shows a meeting in his study at 3 p.m. with someone listed only as Investment Partner JK. The appointment was added this morning by Daniel. I'm watching a man orchestrate his boss's murder in real time, but I need proof, because if I'm wrong, Min Jun will eliminate me for slandering his most loyal man. And if I'm right but can't prove it, Daniel will eliminate me for noticing. I pull up the study's occupancy sensors and camera 17, the one covering Min Jun's desk. Then I access the building's maintenance records. There. 2 months ago, Daniel authorized a contractor to install upgraded air filtration in the study. The work order is legitimate. But when I check the HVAC system's current status, the study's air handler is running at twice its normal intake velocity. They're going to pump something into the room. I'm texting Min Jun when the server room door opens. Daniel. I don't have time to close the screens. He sees everything. Clever girl, he says softly, and pulls his gun. I roll left as the first shot smashes into the server rack where my head was. Sparks explode. I'm under the desk, scrambling for anything, and my hand finds the fire extinguisher mounted on the wall. Second shot punches through the desk. Wood splinters spray my face. I yank the pin and blast him blind. White chemical fog fills the room. I hear him choking, swearing in Korean, and I run. Out the door, down the hallway, staff wing, I'm screaming, "Gun, gun!" And people are emerging from rooms, confused, and I'm shoving past them toward the main house. I hear Daniel behind me, calm, not rushing. He knows the compound. There's nowhere I can go. I burst into the main house's kitchen. The cook drops a pot. Mrs. Lim turns, startled. "Where's Min Jun?" I gasp. "His study. Mrs. Lim says. Meeting with, I'm already running, through the dining room, up the main stairs. The study is in the west wing, second floor, and I'm taking steps 3 at a time. The hallway is empty. The study door is closed. I don't knock. I slam it open. Min Jun is seated at his desk. Across from him is a man in his 30s, expensive suit, briefcase open. They both turn to stare at me. The air system, I choke out. Daniel rigged it. The meeting, it's a setup. Min Jun's face remains blank for 1 second. Then he moves like violence in expensive jeans. He grabs the visitor by the collar and hauls him toward the door. Out, now! The man stumbles into the hall. Min Jun slams the door, locks it, and goes to the windows. They don't open. Bulletproof, sealed. He's already on his phone. Lockdown protocol, all units to main house, code black. Then he looks at me. Explain. I do. 90 seconds of surveillance footage, timestamps, pattern breaks, the blind spot, the delivery, the HVAC modification. He listens without interrupting. When I finish, he says, Daniel's been with me 14 years. I know. If you're wrong, check the air handler. The intake velocity is doubled. Check the delivery authorization. It's not in Mrs. Lim's log. Check the study door handle turns, locked. Then we hear the key. Daniel has master access. Of course he does. Min Jun pulls a gun from his desk drawer and aims it at the door. I'm pressed against the wall, unarmed, useless. The door opens slowly. Daniel stands in the threshold. His weapon is holstered. His hands are raised. Sajang Nim, he says. Boss, we need to talk. Talk from there, Min Jun says. The gun doesn't waver. Ms. Chen saw something she doesn't understand. I was conducting an internal security test. The camera adjustment, the delivery authorization, they're part of a controlled exercise to identify vulnerabilities. I should have informed you, but I wanted genuine responses from the staff. It's a perfect lie, reasonable, plausible, and I have no way to disprove it except my gut. Min Jun's eyes flicked to me. The HVAC modification? Legitimate upgrade, Daniel says. Better air quality in your workspace. The increased velocity is part of the new system's calibration phase. It normalizes after 72 hours. Show me the work order. Daniel pulls his phone, taps, holds it out. Min Jun doesn't move closer. He gestures for Daniel to place the phone on the floor and slide it over. Daniel does. Min Jun picks it up without lowering his gun, scans the document. I can't breathe. If the work order looks legitimate, I'm finished. Min Jun will choose 14 years of loyalty over 6 weeks of contract work. This work order is dated 8 weeks ago, Min Jun says. Ms. Chen said 2 months. That's consistent. My heart sinks. Then Min Jun continues. But the contractor's license number is invalid, and the company listed doesn't exist. I know because I run background checks on everyone who enters this house. This company wasn't in my records 8 weeks ago. Daniel's expression doesn't change. Administrative error. The contractor used a subcontractor. The paperwork is falsified. Min Jun's voice is ice. Which means you falsified it. Which means Ms. Chen is right. For 3 seconds, nobody moves. Then Daniel's hand drops toward his weapon, and Min Jun shoots him. Not to kill. The bullet takes Daniel in the shoulder, spinning him back into the hallway. He crashes against the opposite wall. Min Jun is on him in 2 strides, weapon pressed to Daniel's head while he kicks Daniel's gun away. Who paid you? Min Jun demands. Daniel laughs. Blood stains his teeth. You killed my brother. 15 years ago, Busan. You don't even remember him, do you? Variables. You eliminate variables. He was just a variable to you. Min Jun's face shows something I've never seen. Not quite emotion. Recognition, maybe. Kim Jae-sung, Min Jun says quietly. Your brother worked for the Choi family. He was stealing from me. He was feeding his daughter. You put 3 bullets in him and walked away. He made a choice. Choices have consequences. So do debts, Daniel says. I've waited 14 years, earned your trust, learned your house. Today you die in your study from carbon monoxide poisoning. Tragic accident, faulty air system. I mourn publicly, take over operations, and my brother's debt is paid. Security officers flood the hallway. Min-jun doesn't look away from Daniel. You're right, Min-jun says. Debts must be paid. You saved my life twice. I owe you those deaths. But you tried for a third. That one costs you everything. He stands, hands Daniel to his men. Hospital first, then containment. I want everyone who helped him. Daniel is dragged away, still laughing. Min-jun finally looks at me. I'm shaking so hard I'm surprised my bones don't crack. You saved my life, he says. You saved mine. Daniel was going to shoot me in the server room. Then we're even. He holsters his weapon. Go rest. We'll discuss your contract extension later. Extension? You think I'm letting you leave now? You know everything, Ms. Chen, and you're dangerously observant. His expression is unreadable. Variables get eliminated or they get employed. Choose. I choose Maya. I always choose Maya. I'll stay. 3 weeks later, I'm not in the server room anymore. I'm in the main house in an office next to Min-jun's study, with a title that means nothing and access to everything. Daniel's replacement doesn't trust me. Mrs. Lim watches me like I'm a bomb. The staff whispers when I walk past, but Min-jun asks my opinion before meetings, asks me to verify documents, analyze security footage, watch people during negotiations. I've become his second pair of eyes, and everyone knows it. I should hate it. I should be terrified. Instead, I feel useful for the first time in 3 years. Tonight, there's a dinner. 20 people from 3 organizations across Vancouver. Min-jun needs to prove stability after Daniel's betrayal. Show strength. I'm attending because he wants me to watch the guests. Tell him who's lying. I'm wearing a dress I bought yesterday. Nothing fancy, just professional. And trying to figure out how I went from IT contractor to criminal consultant in 1 month. There's a knock on my office door. Come in. Min-jun enters. He's in a full suit tonight. Charcoal gray. He looks dangerous and expensive. Ready? He asks. Do I look ready? He actually smiles. I've seen him smile 4 times now. Each time makes me forget how to breathe. You look competent, he says. That's better than ready. We walk to the dining room together. His hand rests lightly on my lower back, a gesture of guidance that feels like possession. I should object. I don't. The dinner is performance art. Everyone smiles. Everyone lies. I watch handshakes and eye contact and who defers to whom. Halfway through the 3rd course, I lean close to Min-jun and whisper, "The man in blue, northeast corner. He's terrified of the woman to your left." Min-jun doesn't look. Why? He touched his neck 3 times when she spoke. Hasn't made eye contact with her once. He's hiding something from her, not from you. Useful. After dessert, Min-jun stands and makes a toast in Korean, then English, for the guests who don't speak Korean fluently. To loyalty, to trust, to family, and to eliminating variables. Everyone laughs. I don't. The guests leave by midnight. Min-jun dismisses the staff. We're alone in the dining room with 2 bottles of soju and the weight of 30 people's secrets. You were right about Mr. Kang, Min-jun says, pouring 2 glasses. He's embezzling from Mrs. Park. She'll handle it internally. You saved him from me. I didn't save him. I just reported what I saw. You saved him. She'll only take his hands. I would have taken his life. He slides a glass to me. To observation. I drink. The soju burns. Why do you trust me? I ask. Really? You threatened my sister, yes. But threats only work if someone's afraid. You don't know if I'm afraid enough. He considers this. You're right. I don't know if threats would hold you, but I know you came back after Daniel tried to kill you. You didn't run. You didn't quit. You chose to stay in the house where someone tried to murder you because your sister needed medication. That kind of loyalty to family? He refills my glass. I understand that. I trust that. Even though I'm just a variable? You stopped being a variable when you saved my life. Now you're family. Different category. He drinks. Dangerous category. Family can hurt you more than enemies, but I'm choosing to trust it. We sit in silence. The house settles around us. Somewhere upstairs, someone walks across a floor. Outside, the security patrol changes shift. Daniel was right, Min-jun says quietly. I killed his brother. I don't remember his face. I've killed enough people that they blur together. But he remembered. Waited 14 years. Nearly succeeded. He looks at me. Do you think I'm a monster, Miss Chen? I think you're a man who built a kingdom in a world that doesn't forgive weakness. I think you've made choices I'll never understand. And I think if you were a monster, you wouldn't ask that question. Diplomatic answer. Honest answer. You want pretty lies, hire someone else to watch your guests. He laughs. Actually laughs. Stay, Naomi. Not Miss Chen anymore, just stay. It's the first time he's used my name. I'm staying, I say. For now. For now is enough. 2 months later, for now has become a permanent office, a security detail I didn't ask for, and a salary that pays for Maya's treatment and 3 months of savings. I've been trained in basic security protocols, learned enough Korean to follow conversations I'm not supposed to hear, and earned a reputation as Min-jun's silent advisor who sees too much. Tonight, I'm in his study reviewing security footage from a warehouse incident when he comes in bleeding, not badly. His knuckles are split, his jacket is torn, and there's blood on his collar that might not be his. Medical kit, he says, heading to the bathroom. I follow. He's already running water over his hands. The knuckles are worse up close, deep splits going to scar. What happened? Business negotiation. The other party was unreasonable. Are they still alive? Mostly. I pull the medical kit from under the sink. I learned where he keeps emergency supplies in week 2 and start cleaning his wounds. He doesn't flinch. You should have someone trained do this, I say. You're doing fine. I'm an IT specialist, not a nurse. You're detail-oriented, same principle. He watches me work. Why aren't you more afraid of me, Naomi? I am afraid of you. You don't act like it. I'm just better at hiding it than most people. I wrap his right hand, and I've seen worse than you. Where? I hesitate. I haven't told anyone this. Not even Maya knows the full story. When I was 23, I worked IT for a Seattle law firm, white-collar criminal defense, rich people getting away with financial crimes. I was good at my job. I didn't ask questions. I moved to his left hand. One of the partners was laundering money for a trafficking operation, not drugs, people. I found the evidence by accident. Buried in encrypted files I was supposed to be backing up. Min-jun's eyes don't leave my face. I went to the managing partner, I continue. Showed him everything. He thanked me, said he'd handle it. 2 days later, my apartment was broken into. Nothing stolen, but someone had been through every drawer, every file, every device. And there was a photo on my bed. Maya, walking to her clinic appointment. My hands are steady as I tie off the bandage, but my voice isn't. I quit the next day, destroyed the evidence, moved to a new city, learned that some truths cost more than they're worth. And I learned what real monsters look like. They don't carry guns and split their knuckles. They wear $1,000 suits and smile while they threaten your family. What happened to the partner? He's still practicing law, still laundering money, still untouchable. I pack up the medical kit. So yes, Min-jun, I'm afraid of you. But you've never pretended to be anything except dangerous. That makes you honest. I can work with honest. He catches my wrist before I can step away. His grip is gentle despite the bandages. The people who threatened Maya, he says. Do you remember their names? Why? Because I pay my debts. You saved my life. That debt includes your sister's safety. Give me names. I should say no. Should draw a line between my old life and this one. Should keep Min-jun's violence pointed away from my past. Instead, I give him 3 names. "Consider it handled," he says, and releases my wrist. 2 weeks later, the Seattle law firm makes national news. The laundering partner and 2 associates are arrested. Evidence appeared anonymously to federal prosecutors. The case is airtight. Maya calls me, excited. "Did you see the news? That firm you used to work for? They're finally going down." "I saw," I say, and look at Min Jun across his study. He's reading a contract, expressionless. When I hang up, he doesn't look up. "Debts paid?" "Yes, thank you." "Don't thank me. You earned it." That night, the line between employer and something else disappears completely. It's 4 months into my contract extension when everything breaks again. I'm in the security office reviewing delivery logs, routine work, when I notice a pattern. Small equipment shipments, always on Thursdays, always to the warehouse on East Hastings. The authorization comes from Mrs. Lim, which isn't unusual. She handles supply logistics. But the vendor codes are inconsistent, different companies each week, and when I cross-reference the items against inventory logs, they never appear in storage. Someone is stealing, systematically, small amounts that wouldn't trigger audits, but over 6 months it adds up to nearly $200,000 in missing equipment. I should go to Min Jun immediately, but something stops me. Mrs. Lim has been with this organization for 23 years. She's the house manager, the cultural anchor, the person who keeps the domestic side running. If I'm wrong about her, I'm destroying a woman's reputation. If I'm right, I'm proving that loyalty means nothing, that anyone can betray Min Jun given enough time. I spend 3 days verifying, checking and rechecking. The pattern holds, the theft is real, and it leads directly to Mrs. Lim's authorizations. On the 4th day, I find the bank records. Mrs. Lim has a daughter in Seoul, medical debt, cancer treatment, $700,000 over 2 years. The payments match the timing of the thefts. She's stealing to save her daughter, just like I would steal to save Maya. I'm sitting in my office with evidence that will end a 23-year career, trying to decide what kind of person I want to be in Min Jun's world, when he walks in. "You look troubled," he says. "I found something." His expression sharpens. "Show me." I do, all of it. The theft pattern, the vendor discrepancies, the bank records, the daughter's medical bills. He reads in silence. When he finishes, he says, "She's been stealing from me for 6 months." To save her daughter. Irrelevant. Theft is theft. Betrayal is betrayal. He sets down the tablet. "You should have come to me immediately." I needed to be sure. You needed 3 days to decide whether to protect her or follow protocol, which means you sympathize. He studies my face. "You think I should show mercy because her motivation is understandable. I think you should know all the context before you decide. The context is that she betrayed my trust for money. The reason doesn't change the action." He stands. "But you're right. I should know everything. Bring her here." 20 minutes later, Mrs. Lim sits in Min Jun's study. She knows why she's here. Her face is composed, but her hands shake. 23 years, Min Jun says. "You've managed my household, raised my daughter when her mother died, organized my life. I trusted you with every detail of my home." Mrs. Lim doesn't speak. "My IT specialist discovered your theft. 6 months of systematic stealing. Nearly $200,000. Do you deny it?" "No," said Jongnam. Her voice is steady. "I stole from you, for my daughter. She's dying. So you chose your daughter over your honor." "Yes." Min Jun looks at me. "Ms. Chen chose her sister over her safety multiple times. She understands your motivation. She thinks I should show mercy. What do you think, Mrs. Lim? Do you deserve mercy?" Mrs. Lim meets his eyes. "No, I broke trust. In your world, that has only one consequence. I accept it. But I ask that you allow me to write to my daughter first. She'll need to know what arrangements I've made for her treatment to continue." The room is silent. Min Jun's face is unreadable. "How much does your daughter need?" he asks finally. Mrs. Lim blinks. "Excuse me?" "Total, for her treatment." "How much?" 500,000, maybe more depending on... Done. I'll wire the full amount tomorrow. You'll resign immediately. Leave this house. If you ever return to Vancouver, you'll die. But your daughter lives. Your debt is paid." Mrs. Lim stares. Then she starts crying. Silent tears streaming down her face. "I don't understand," she whispers. "Neither do I," Min-jun says. "But Ms. Chen is teaching me that context matters, that loyalty has layers. You were loyal for 23 years before circumstances broke you. That earns you a different ending than someone like Daniel, who planned my murder for 14 years. He gestures to the door. "Leave. Tonight. Your daughter gets her treatment. You get your life. Don't make me regret mercy." Mrs. Lim bows so low her forehead nearly touches her knees. Then she flees. When we're alone, I stare at Min-jun. "You just paid $500,000 to someone who stole from you. I paid a debt. She gave me 23 years of loyalty. That's worth more than the money she took." He refills his drink. "And I paid a different debt. To you." "To me?" "You could have come to me immediately. You didn't. You took time to understand Mrs. Lim's situation, even though it complicated your loyalty to me. That's valuable. You're teaching me to see beyond variables." He looks at me. "You're changing how I think, Naomi. I'm not sure if that's good or dangerous." "Maybe both. Probably both." He crosses to where I'm standing. We're close enough that I can see the gold flecks in his dark eyes. "You know what you are now? In my organization? You're IT specialist? You're my conscience, the voice that makes me pause before I eliminate variables. I didn't have that before." His hand comes up, fingers brushing my cheek. "I'm not sure I deserve you." My breath catches. "You don't?" He laughs, and then he's kissing me. It's not gentle. It's 14 years of being untouchable, and 6 months of restraint breaking in one moment. His hands frame my face like I'm something precious that might shatter. I'm kissing him back like he's the answer to a question I didn't know I was asking. When we break apart, I'm shaking. He's breathing hard. "This is a terrible idea," I whisper. "The worst," he agrees. "But I stopped caring about good ideas the day you saved my life. I'm supposed to be your employee. You stopped being just an employee 4 months ago. We both know it." His thumb traces my lower lip. "I'm giving you a choice, Naomi. Walk away now. I'll honor your contract, pay you fairly, let you leave safely. Or stay, not as an employee, as something more, something that doesn't have a job description." "What happens if it doesn't work?" "Then you leave alive and paid. I don't punish people for failed relationships, only for betrayal. Can you betray me?" I think about it. Really think. "No, I don't think I can. You're too honest about what you are." Then we try. He kisses me again, softer this time. "Stay, Naomi. Not for Maya, not for the money, for this, for us." I stay. 6 months later, I'm not just staying. I'm living in the main house, sleeping in Min-jun's room more nights than not, and running security operations like I was born to it. Maya's treatment is fully funded. She's thriving. She asks questions about my work I can't answer, but she knows I'm safe, protected. I've told her I'm doing private security consultation for a corporate client. It's not entirely a lie. Tonight, there's a crisis. A rival organization hit one of our shipments. 3 men injured, 1 critical. Min-jun is managing the retaliation personally. I'm in the security office coordinating surveillance and tracking the attackers' movements through city cameras I shouldn't have access to, but do. It's 2 a.m. when Min-jun returns. Blood on his shirt. Not his. He finds me still in the office, running logistics for cleanup crews. "Status?" he asks. "All crews deployed. Injured or in our clinic. The attacker's location is confirmed. I've got them on camera at a warehouse in Surrey. Do you want coordinates?" "Later. Right now, I need you." I look up. He's exhausted. Dangerous in the way that means he's running on adrenaline and violence, and he needs something to ground him. I save my work, stand, walk to him. I'm here. His arms come around me. He doesn't say anything, just holds me like I'm the only solid thing in a world that's trying to break him. I feel his heartbeat slow, feel the tension drain. "Thank you," he says finally, "for being the reason I can still feel human. Thank you for being the reason I can still feel safe." We stand like that for a long time. Outside, the organization moves and breathes and enforces its will on Vancouver. But here, in this moment, we're just two people who found each other in the worst possible circumstances and somehow made it work. 3 weeks later, I find the pregnancy test. It's positive. I'm staring at it in the bathroom, trying to process the impossible, when Min Jun knocks. "Naomi, you've been in there 20 minutes. I open the door, hand him the test, watch his face. He looks at it for 10 seconds, then at me. "Is this what you want?" "I don't know. I didn't plan this. We were careful." "Not careful enough, apparently." He sets the test down. "I need you to understand what this means. A child ties you to this life permanently, to me, to this organization, to danger. If you have this baby, you're choosing my world forever. No exit strategy, no going back to normal. I haven't had normal since the day I watched you shoot Daniel. You've had the option of normal, the fantasy that someday you might leave, restart, go back to being Naomi Chen, the IT specialist. A baby destroys that fantasy. You'll be the mother of my child. That's a target. That's a legacy. That's a commitment you can't break." I sit on the edge of the bathtub. "What do you want?" He kneels in front of me, takes my hands. "I want you to choose freely. I want you to have this child if you want a family. I want you to terminate if you don't. Either way, I want you to stay. But I need you to understand the stakes. If I have this baby, will you protect them? With my life. Will you protect Maya? Always. I told you. She's family now. Your family is my family." I look at this dangerous man who's somehow become my home. I'm terrified. Good. Fear means you understand reality. But are you staying? I think about Maya, about the baby that might be, about the life I've built in this impossible world, about the man who kills people and bandages his knuckles in my presence, about the choice I'm making not just for me, but for the family I'm creating. I'm staying, I say, for all of it, forever. He kisses me like I just gave him something more valuable than loyalty, like I gave him hope. 9 months later, I'm holding our daughter while Min Jun teaches Maya how to say aunt in Korean. The main house is full of people who would kill for him, but right now it's just full of family. I should feel trapped. Instead, I feel free, because I chose this, every impossible moment, every dangerous choice. I walked into this world for money and stayed for love, and somehow that makes all the difference. If you've ever had to choose between the safe life you were supposed to want and the dangerous one that actually makes you feel alive, drop a comment and tell me. Would you have stayed in Min Jun's world, or would you have run the moment things got real? Because what happened after our daughter turned 2, when my old life came back looking for revenge? That's a story about what it really costs to love a dangerous man. Subscribe now. You'll want to see how far I'm willing to go to protect my family.